The wind carried dust across the dying fields as the sun sagged low behind the ridge, spilling orange fire across the valley that once fed half the territory. Now that same valley was a battlefield. No one had asked for, not the old man coughing blood on the porch, not the townsfolk who whispered about the coming storm, and certainly not the girl standing barefoot in the doorway, clutching her father's coat around her trembling shoulders. Her name was Leela, and she had known hardship, but she had never known fear like this. Not until the day the rider appeared on the horizon, his silhouette sharp against the dying light. His horse galloped steady, like something carved out of steel and shadow, and the man atop it looked like he'd come straight from the pages of a brutal legend, broad-shouldered, cold-eyed, carrying a reputation that reached even this far out where law rarely dared to tread. His name was Cole Maddox, the man who collected debts for the Barrow Creek Land Company. The man said to be so unshakable that even outlaws kept their distance. He rode with purpose, dust trailing behind him like the tail of a comet, destined to destroy whatever it touched. And today, fate had pointed him straight toward Leela's father's land. The cabin creaked as the rider dismounted, boots striking hard against the ground, as if each step declared that negotiations were already over. Ezra Burke, Cole called, his voice deep enough to make the wind shrink away. Your payment's due. Your time's run out. Ezra tried to rise, but his legs buckled beneath him, and only Leela's desperate hands kept him from falling. She could feel the heat of his fever. She could hear the rattle in his lungs. The land agent who had promised him a season's extension had lied. And now Cole was here to take everything: this house, this soil, their livelihood. Ezra's voice cracked as he tried to answer, but Cole's gaze shifted past him. Landing on Leela, she stared back, swallowing hard, clutching the coat tighter around her thin frame. He expected fear. Everyone feared him, but there was something else behind her eyes, a fierce, trembling resolve that made Cole pause for the first time in months. Please, she whispered, stepping forward before her father could stop her. Don't do this. He's sick. The crops failed. We don't have anything left. Cole kept his tone cold, because cold was all he had known for years. Everyone has something to give, he said. Land, cattle, tools, something. Leela's voice thinned to a breath. We don't. Cole turned to leave, signaling his horse. The outcome sealed until her next words froze him in place. Then take me. Ezra cried out, but the sound was swallowed by the wind as Leela stepped in front of Cole. Chin trembling yet lifted, forcing him to meet her eyes. Just spare him, she whispered, those 3 words trembling like glass about to shatter. Cole's jaw clenched. He'd had people beg for land, for mercy, for time. But he'd never had someone offer themselves not like this. Not with the desperation of someone willing to trade her entire future for the life of someone she loved. It was supposed to be an easy job. Sign the papers, seize the land, ride out before nightfall. But now his pulse stumbled, and something buried deep within him cracked open. Cole looked at Leela, really looked. Her dress was patched and dirt-stained, her hair coming loose in strands from a long day's work. And yet, she stood like someone carved from the same heartbeat as the land itself, unyielding, proud, determined even in despair. You don't know what you're saying, he muttered, more to himself than her. I do, she answered. If you take this land, he'll die within the week. Let me come with you instead. Let him stay. Ezra tried to push Leela behind him, coughing violently, but Cole gently raised a hand. Sir, Cole said quietly, I'm not here to hurt her. But the words tasted wrong, like a lie he didn't want to speak anymore. Cole had ridden across counties, leaving broken families behind. He had promised himself never to feel anything on these jobs. Yet here, with this trembling girl standing before him like a sacrificial lamb, his chest tightened in a way that scared him far more than any gun ever had. You'd give your freedom? Cole asked slowly. For a man who can't protect you anymore? Leela nodded without hesitation. He's my father. And he's all I have. Cole stared at her, and something inside him shifted like ice cracking beneath spring sunlight. Memories flashed: his own father dying in a cold, lonely barn, no one there to spare him, no daughter brave enough to offer herself for him. For the first time in years, Cole felt the weight of the badge pinned to his chest, not a sheriff's badge, but the metal emblem of the land company, the one that damned him to a life of taking from others. A gust of wind rushed between them, carrying the scent of dust and sagebrush, and the faint, fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, some men didn't have to stay monsters forever. Cole stepped back, removing his gloves slowly. "I'm not taking you," he said, voice rough. Lila's eyes widened in confusion, but he wasn't finished. "And I'm not taking the land either." Ezra sagged against the porch post, disbelief washing across his weathered face. Lila's lips parted, but no sound came out. Cole pulled the contract from his coat, stared at it, then tore the paper into pieces that fluttered like dying leaves across the dirt. "Tell the company whatever you want," he said, meeting Lila's gaze. "But I'm done doing their dirty work." Lila stepped forward, the tension in her shoulders melting as tears filled her eyes, not tears of sacrifice, but of shock, of relief so sharp it nearly dropped her to her knees. Cole didn't reach for her, didn't try to claim what she had offered. He simply tipped his hat. "Take care of your father." He mounted his horse, but before he could leave, Lila touched his boot lightly. "Why?" she whispered. "Why spare us?" Cole hesitated only a moment. "Because you reminded me that some people still fight for those they love. And maybe it's time I start fighting for something too." With that, he rode off into the burning sunset, leaving behind a girl who had offered herself and a man who realized he didn't need to take anything to feel whole again. And in the silence that followed, Lila watched him disappear, knowing she had changed a man feared by many, simply by choosing love over fear. Friends, if you enjoyed this emotional Western tale, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more powerful story videos like this. Your support helps these stories reach more viewers who love dramatic, heart-stirring adventures just like you.